Let's keep it rolling as we bring in Mike Benevides, the defensive coordinator of the Ottawa Red Blacks, joining us from, I can only imagine, the West Coast. How you doing, Benny?
Good, guys. How you doing? That guy right there is scary. Don't open the door if he comes trick-or-treating.
Yeah, no kidding. It's always Halloween out there in Vancouver with the orange and black colors for the BC Lions. Did you catch the end of that interview with Frank McChrystal on the dynamics, the financials of the CFL? Do you have any thoughts on that, Benny, or would you rather leave it alone?
No, I mean, I have no problem talking about it. I've always spoken the truth, and the way I see it, it belongs in the players' pockets. I mean, they're the product. They're the guys that put it on the field. They have a short window to make the money that they have to, that they can, and so it belongs in their pockets. And certainly, the economics has changed, and when it was canceled back on the 17th of August, it's still on my calendar right there. Still pisses me off. I mean, there's heartbreak, there's disappointment, but it's the players that feel the worst for, and then it just goes bigger and bigger when you look at the dynamic of where the league's going to go. You're looking at young people, where it's going to happen. So the world's a complicated place, but when you talk about the economics, it belongs in those players' pockets.
Well, I've put the coaches in that category, and you get it. You can coach for longer, but you guys were all players too, right? And you guys are the ones that are hurting the most. And we can come back on that. But when I saw your name on the board, I was excited to get your thoughts on David Braley. You spent so many years working for the BC Lions, and really good years, Mike. When you think of
really,
what do you think of?
Yeah, I think of really, really good years. I think of a man that really gave a ton, just gave a ton to my family and Judy and I and the kids, because like you said, we were here for 14 years, and he gave us an opportunity. He gave us an opportunity to succeed, and he did everything he could to help us win. Now, that man loved football. He loved the CFL, and he loved the people. You talk about a guy that just gave so much money. It's been talked about all week. But when I think of him, I think of a guy that really gave a ton and cared about his people. I mean, if you messed around with the ticket people or the administrative ladies up front, you'd have to deal with him, because he really, really cared about his people, and he gave a ton of money back. And through the 14 years, I just have a ton of respect for what he was able to do. He would bring us into his home. Not a lot of owners do that. That would be a yearly thing that we would do. And he really wanted us to succeed. And so when I came here in 03 with Wally and Bob Ackles was here, like you said, from 03 to 13, we were really, really good. And he was part of that. There was never anything missing. Whatever we wanted, he would always say, we'll find a way. And just what he did league-wide. I mean, there's a story I told a couple of people this week. I haven't told a lot of people, but in 2008, he was obviously involved in helping the Argonauts, and he knew a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. And in 2008, at the Christmas party, he kind of found a moment to take me to the bar, and we were having a conversation at the bar, and he said, hey, I know Toronto's really interested in you. You're going to be a great head coach. But he also told me a little bit of the inside of what was going on there, just to give me the inside scoop, if you will. So I knew where the financials were. So when they tried to hire me several times, the back of my mind, there was the mentorship or the advice from David. So he was really good to our family and league-wide. And when you go to Hamilton and you go to the University of McMaster, there's just tons and tons of money put into the athletic facility, the medical, the academia. So he was a great dude, man. He did a lot, and there's a huge legacy. And a lot of people said, has anybody helped the league more than him in the last 100 years? I don't know if there has been. And people are going to have, we're all going to have detractors, Rod. You, me, some people are not going to like us. But that man did everything he could to help our league, and a lot of times didn't let people know about it.
Well, and you know what, Betty? The interesting thing about that is you and I aren't old, but we have been around. And one thing I'm seeing, you can say what you want about Braley if you thought he was cheap or you didn't like his methods, and people have said that this week too. But what you can't say is the man didn't love the CFL, and you saw it yourself on the field as a champion. He'd be down there with you guys, Benny. And with corporations taking over ownership, there might be a day that we're begging for a David Braley. Do you know what I mean? Just the cold, hard nature of corporations that are taking over sports teams.
I keep telling people, you know how the saying goes, right? Careful what you wish for, right? Because when he's not there, you go, oh, man, I wish he was here, because he was helping every team. He saved the BC Lions, saved Hamilton. He saved the soccer team. He helped Toronto. He helped other teams, and it's been told this week where there's financial aid where people don't know about it, right? So he was a great, great man. Loved him and really appreciate the opportunity he gave all of us, because he really did.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he had owned the Vancouver 86ers when they needed it. I didn't know that till somebody in the Vancouver soccer community pointed it out. Simon Fudge, by the way. Switching gears Can you talk about the Vancouver football community? Because, again, you're out there now, are you not?
Yes, this is still home for us, yeah.
Yeah, so when did Chase Claypool become Chase Claypool? I'm hearing stories about a 10-touchdown game in high school. When did he come on your radar?
I mean, he came onto my radar about at least 6 years ago because he played at Abbotsford, which is about 45 minutes from here. And we used to have training camp there. And, it started to kind of build up, and you heard about him. And then, it really became something when we went to Notre Dame and the success he had. But I think everybody kind of, you didn't think he was going to do what he just did, right? And right now he's on track to possibly be Rookie of the Year in the National Football League. But he's a quality individual. That's one thing I think that, when you hear to the coaches talking in the National Football League, they talk about maturity, they talk about character, they talk about intelligence. And I think sometimes these characteristics are so important, and the kids got them. So I would say it was about 6 years ago, 2 years before he left college, or his last senior year, where I really heard about him, and certainly proud of him because he's doing great things for himself and the nation.
Well, I just have people saying to me, because you see Claypool Mania is going crazy, I can only imagine what it's like in Vancouver. And people are like, pump the brakes, pump the brake, not the greatest. Have you ever heard of Ruben Mays? Canadian or American, Benny? Have you been around a guy that is as athletic freak like Chase? And I don't say that as a bad way, but he looks like a god.
No, he absolutely does. He's got body control. He's got hand coordination. He can go up and get it, and he looks like a big, long guy. And so you don't think he's as fast as he is, but he's quick and he is fast. And any opportunity he's been given, he's making it happen. And so now, last week, watching the game closely, because I'm fortunate enough to get the National Football League tape. You didn't hear it from me, but I'm watching it. And when you talk about it, there's people paying attention to him and leaning to him. So it's going to open up other guys. And they got a great football team. And so he's got a bright future. But, there's been so many guys from our country that have made inroads. But certainly right now, when you look at him, he's got an opportunity, because that's what it is, an opportunity. You can't anoint him based on 6-7 games, but he's got an opportunity to be the greatest we ever produced, for sure.
Yeah, well, we do tend to get ahead of ourselves a little bit in the media, a little further ahead than I think the coaches do. Mind you, you were in the media, and that reminds me, Mandy in Edmonton's watching, and she says, question for Benny, can he tell us about his time on the TSN panel? Did he enjoy it? He sure looked sharp in three-piece suits, and getting a peek inside his defensive mind was a treat. How much did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it thoroughly, but I kind of like wearing the T-shirts now. I like the shirts. The shirts are kind of more comfortable for me. But when it was fantastic. I mean, when I first went on there in 2015, the first go around, Paul Graham and everybody else there was phenomenal. They treat me like one of their own, and with a tremendous amount of respect. And really, they do have a tremendous amount of respect for the game, the knowledge of the game, what you put in, and it was awesome. I mean, going across the country, and still going. Yesterday, we got some pumpkins at Save-On, and some people still wanted to talk about the TSN thing, and they want to know about Milt, they want to know about Matt. But it was a great experience. I loved it. It kept me close to the game. You remember in 2015, I was up at camp with you guys, just visiting for a couple of days up in Saskatoon, and that was my first go-around. And from that point on, it really helped me because I watched, right? You watch, you learn. And when you're not the opponent, people share different things with you. And it helped me grow, and had a great 3-year run in Edmonton, and now looking forward to do great things in Ottawa. But great opportunity, great people. I mean, those guys, and you guys are in media, you know how hard it is, but to put on some of these broadcasts, and you go to a Grey Cup event, and you walk into a room, and you're like, wow, there's a lot of people here. And when you have people on the panel that I work with intimately that I consider friends, you compete to be as great as you can. I remember my first go around. I mean, they're just talking, no big deal. But it is. I mean, you're working at it. They're competing to be great. If it's a bad hit, they're pissed off and just want to compete to be great. And so elevate the performance all the way around. So you really enjoyed it because you're talking the game, and it's the game I love.
I think it's fantastic for you guys to get a look on the other side. On the dark side, you know how close Lapo and I are. And then after he did it for a while, he's like, whoa, I didn't understand. It's not easy to be critical of people, but they want you to be critical of people. I mean, I would think that was the hardest part of it, Benny. Am I right? Being critical of your friends?
It's always difficult because it's about people, and you know how hard they work. We've all been in the same shoes. I can't say that guy screwed up because I remember in 2004, I did the same mistake. And like I tell people, There are no geniuses in football, people. There are no geniuses. Everything's been done. It's just men that are teaching it right with a great opportunity with great players. That's what it is. And if you bring light to what I would like to do is say, hey, yeah, they might have missed the overtime, but this is what's going through their mind, and that's kind of what happened to me. So there's no doubt that you're dealing with people and you don't want to criticize, but if it's real, you have to be honest, because if you're having a drink with them and you're having a conversation, they know what's real. They're like, Benny, I really busted that time out, or I really need to work a little bit more on my pump protection, whatever it was. They're going to be honest with you, and so you're just sharing those point of views, and I think people deserve that, and I think people want that. I'm a fan of the game, so when I watch you talk, when I watch your show, which by the way, big time, I'm flipping through channels, and you're on TV. What's going on? You're making big time. All of a sudden, you're on TV. So congratulations to you for how well the show's doing. But I'm just a fan of it, so I want people to tell them the truth. And guys understand that. They know what your job is at hand. But, I think coming up as Wally was great with us because he mentored us and always told us, hey, we need them more than they need us. And all the way since the beginning, he always put that in my head when I first came into the league 21 years ago. And, as a head coach, you got to deal with that every day. So, tremendous amount of respect for what's got to be there, because right now we all wish you were talking about us. We wish you would be, on the sidelines, right? That's what everybody wishes, but it's not happening.
It's funny you say that because, our show's doing well, but I said the CFL not playing has hurt us big time in terms of numbers and what we'd like to be talking about. And by the way, Wally should be giving seminars on that. Could you talk to Wally about that? Just to bring football guys into a room and say, hey, guys, you need the media more than they need you, so you get it.
True story. True. Absolutely. We had meetings, and I'm a head coach, and he's there as my GM, and we're in meetings in the offseason talking about that when we could get together at the Combine. And he, obviously, it's the Godfather. He's going to have a chance to speak at the podium. And he told everybody that how important that is. So he's told people that, and I think we all get it. We understand it. And when guys like me have done it, guys like Claypool have done it, we all kind of understand. And I think, as things change, and there's nothing we could hide. You can't hide practice. They're going to tell you on social media what's going on. There's no secrets. Just watch the film. So I think as younger coaches get up, I think it's changing a little bit. And I think, some of these young kids love social media and being popular. So they're kind of used to that.
Yeah, well, the players certainly do. They want to grow their brands, get more followers. Yeah, they get it.
Absolutely.
Believe me, we've figured it out.
They get it.
Benny, last question for you, and it goes back to Claypool. What's his success doing for amateur football in the Lower Mainland or all of BC or even in Canada? I got to think there's Canadian kids saying, I want to be the next Chase Claypool. I don't think they're saying I want to be the next Brett Jones and David Onyemata. We understand that. But Claypool Mania, Mapletron what's it doing, do you think, for kids in this country?
I think it's going to do a lot, but we've had, the Lower Mainland's done a great job of football. And when you take a look at John Cornish coming through here, when you look at Calvin McCarty coming here, right? It's in our league, in our country, they've done a great job. Now, as we know, younger kids are looking at National Football League. It's a different brand. I think it's going to do, if we could get on the field and build on it, it's everything that they could identify, right? A good character kid, went to a school here. He had an opportunity to go to Notre Dame. But you look all the way across the country, right? I mean, there's guys playing at Alabama making names for themselves. You look at what the hysteria is with the rookies from Alberta playing at Clemson. So when you look at these skill set guys that are down, obviously Chubb, right? So you look at all these guys having a tremendous amount of success in NC2A. It's just going to breed it. And remember, guys down south and recruits and coaches, they want to win. They're going to find the athletes regardless of where they are. I think it just opens more windows, and kids see that, right? So when Chase comes back and he's able to speak to kids, they see him on Sundays, and that's what they want to emulate. So I think it's going to, through time, I think it's going to do great things for it, just like all the young guys that have come through and all the college kids that are, getting a lot of publicity. And you guys help that, right? There's more dialogue, more discussion about our young Canadian kids playing in the NC2A and doing big things in the National Football League.
Yep, it's all good. It's just how you going to channel it or harness it, for the benefit of the CFL and Canadian football. Benny, appreciate the time. Always good seeing you. Good luck in the CFL Sim playoffs, man. Those Red Blacks finished hot, after the 0-7 start. You're going into the playoffs 10-8.
You guys finally figured it out. You start playing better football, and this is it. Figured it out. I was getting a little annoyed now, Rod, but you know what? The computer kind of turned it around.
Yeah, you guys figured it out. All right, Benny. Have a great weekend. There he is.
Be well. Thanks, guys.
The defensive coordinator of the Ottawa Red Blacks. The hottest team rolling into the Sim playoffs. And I kicked my earplug out, so I didn't even hear what he said.
We have a severe lack of Red Blacks gear around here.
I'd love to wear it.
That's got to change. I mean, there's
I'd love to wear it.
Helmet on the desk. There's nothing on the walls. We got to do something about that. Can we get on that? Who do we got to call?
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.